Gay cinema has grown by leaps and bounds in the past 15 years, due largely to digital media platforms and networks like Logo. But even in 2016, a lot of media content still doesn't get exhibited or distributed. BRIC FLIX is helping to open that door by partnering with the Bushwick Film Festival to expose Brooklyn audiences to its current roster of LGBTQ films and their makers. First, before we bring on our guests, take a look at the Bushwick Film Festival.
All right, if that doesn't make you want to see a movie, boy.
Dang.
Well, today we're bringing in two guests to tell us more about the festival and the special BRIC FLIX screening happening right here on our stoop on May 25th. First, journalist and gay rights advocate Tiq Milan, who will moderate the BRIC FLIX panel next week. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we're also happy to have Gerard Frank, who directed a compelling short film called Absence of Love, which addresses how family and religion can affect the coming out experience. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Great to have me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So guys, tell us about the Bushwick Film Festival and how you guys got involved with it. Billy, you're on the board, is that right?
Yes,
We're on the board?
I'm on the board right now. The Bushwick Film Festival started in 2007 by Kwebe Koti, who founded the festival. And the festival was served its place in Brooklyn. It made, in Bushwick in particular, it made it a really happening spot long before the area was actually known to be an up-and-coming neighborhood. And it's mainly a large Caribbean neighborhood, a lot of African Americans as well. And I think the parts of the festival that really bring people together is the panels and some of the discussions around LGBT causes, and also the festival itself as a place to connect and to meet people through music, through films and art.
Well, Tiq, we know we've seen you around as a journalist and a voice in the LGBT and the broader community. I wanted to talk to you about like having a voice in this whole film festival where it's not specifically an LGBTQ festival or something that's as defined as that, but just as a part of the larger media landscape.
Right. Well, I think it's really important that this is happening at the Bushwick Film Festival, because I think this is happening everywhere. Like, we're seeing a surge in visibility, particularly around like trans folks and non-gender conforming folks. And also, marriage equality has just left the gate, and now we're dealing with all these bathroom laws. So right now, the time is really ripe for there to be an abundance of LGBT representation, not just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. So it's great that there's going to be films that are going to be featuring LGBT stories, but also films that are by LGBT people. So I think this is awesome that this is happening at the Bushwick Film Festival, which is such an amazing film festival here in New York City.
Especially knowing the demographics of Bushwick, where it is such a stronghold of the trans and gender nonconforming community, especially for people of color there.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. Like this isn't a specifically LGBT thing, but that's because I'm a trans person, but but that is not the only issue in my life. That's not my only identity. So we have lots of intersecting and layered identities that that can tell really compelling and complex stories. So this is going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Speaking of those compelling and complex stories.
Right, and speaking of being behind the camera, Billy, you have directed one of the films that's in the festival this year, is that right?
Absence of Love, yes, that's
Should we
correct.
see a little first, or you want to tell us about it first? Let's see a little
We have a
first.
clip.
We have a clip.
Yeah, I think
trailer.
let's watch the trailer and then
Let's
we can
watch
talk a little
first?
bit
Okay,
about
let's
it.
watch the trailer first.
Great.
My son was not born that way. That boy is corrupt.
James, it's not what you think it is. Really, Michael? What do you expect me to think here? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I feel like you left me alone with everything. I was alone too.
And if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing.
I don't know if you can find it in your heart to forgive me for what happened when we were teenagers.
Right?
So, Billy, that was Absence of Love. That is going to be here at our BRIC FLIX presentation on May 25th, which actually is all LGBTQ films.
Absence of love, no absence of drama. There was some issues.
Well, actually, the title says Absence of Love, but it's really a film about love and people, family coming together. And I made the film during a time, and it's sort of a personal film, and I made it during a time I was going through a breakup. My father had just died, and I hadn't seen him in over 18 years. So it's a film about estrangement, a film. I think the film kind of dealt with my way of coping with grief and longing, and family grief, as well as the personal grief around my ending a 8-year relationship with a lover.
So you wrote it as well.
I wrote it
I have
as
you here as
well.
the director, but you wrote it as well.
Yeah,
So
I wrote
yeah,
and
I would say
directed
that
it,
it
yeah.
probably makes it a very personal story. How did you get this into BRIC FLIX? How did we all get connected?
Well, this was through the Bushwick Film Festival, the partnership with the Bushwick Film Festival as well. And one of the areas I think that the Bushwick Film Festival has really evolved around is definitely showing films from the LGBT community and helping people in the community to tell their stories as well. And I am from the Caribbean, originally from Grenada, and I wanted to address, the film wasn't shot in the Caribbean, it was shot here in New York and Atlanta. And I really wanted to address some major issues that I had dealt with coming from the Caribbean around religion and homosexuality. And I think Bushwick as a neighborhood has a lot of people from the Caribbean who have a very strong faith base. And I think religion has always played a major role in terms of not allowing gay people to come together, or not, accepting of gay people. And a lot of families, I think, was really broken because of that narrative that we continue to hear from a lot of, religion, particularly, I think, in the Caribbean, even though I think religion had played a very major role in family and bringing people together. But I think when it comes to the LGBT community and our own values and what we believe in, there's been, a different narrative.
Absolutely.
So Tiq, there are going to be films, and you're going to be moderating, and there's going to be some discussion. We could go on for an hour about that. So what kind of conversation are you looking forward to having on the evening of BRIC FLIX?
You know, I'm really interested in getting into the process, like the creative process of telling the stories, the vulnerability that people have to go to. Like, you know, this is a very personal story for you, so I know there's a lot of vulnerability involved with being able to tell your story in such a public way. So I really want to understand, like, what that feels like and the importance of being able to tell our stories, the importance of being in control of our narrative. So I'm hoping to really be able to pull those stories out, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping a lot of people come out to this event on the 25th.
Absolutely.
So it should be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you feel in general like you get a lot of forums to do that? I mean, is this one of the first opportunities you've had to kind of showcase all these films and have these kinds of discussions? How do you feel like the state of LGBTQ media is in general?
Well, you know, I think right now, like I said, we're definitely having a surge in visibility, right? Like, you know, of course, Laverne Cox is revamping the Rocky Horror Picture Show, playing Dr. Frankenfurter, which is going to be epic. Shout out to Laverne, that's my girl. You know, have Janet Mock who's doing so many amazing things. So many storylines with more LGBT and trans people. But what I'm really concerned with is that this visibility translating it into actual like cultural impact. That we can start seeing like, you know, the murder rate of trans women of color going down, that we can see more acceptance in our schools and in our workplaces, in our families, in our churches of LGBT people. So that's why, like, you know, this representation is always so important, you know, because, you know, folks that see this, they may not know someone that's LGBT personally, but they see these stories and they feel a personal connection, right? It takes away the boogeyman, right? Once you're visible, when you're invisible, you become this monster. You know, so now that we're visible, it's like, you know, we're not hiding under your beds, people. Like, everything's cool. Like, we're everyday people, just like everyone else, and are deserving of this love and this respect, and deserving of this space to tell our story. So I think, like, you know, the partnership between BRIC and Bushwick Film Festival is really important in being able to house this and giving us space to have these really, really meaningful conversations.
So
Tell us when it is.
When should we come, and what time should we get here?
Should be here. It's May 25th at 7 p.m. 7 to 9. It'll be right here in Brooklyn, here in the BRIC. Is the BRIC building?
BRIC House.
The BRIC House. In the BRIC House. Right here, lots of space. So it'd be great if folks come out and, you know, show some love.
A week from tomorrow.
Week from tomorrow.
Right,
May 25th.
Find yourselves at the BRIC House a week from tomorrow, 7 to 9. BRIC FLIX. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.